In this video, we're going to do a comprehensive look at My Garage. Now, My Garage is a workspace in your RumbleSeat account where you can manage your digital garage, really your entire collection. So from your account, once you log in, you go to My Garage and you can see all the garage workspaces that are available. So when I first go to My Collection, notice you'll get a quick menu to access your items. However, I can click Collection, and that's going to show me all of the items that I've added to my RumbleSeat digital garage. So in this case, I have 4 examples here. I just want to give you a understanding of the breadth of capabilities here. So whether it be a classic car, pre-war, aircraft, watercraft, think of the toys like ATVs and off-road vehicles. You can really manage anything that might be found in your garage, including parts, including collectibles and memorabilia. So once you get to My Collection, you'll notice here at the very top, there's a search function. So if you've logged all the different parts and tools and everything else in your garage that is of value, you can easily and quickly find it. I'll also mention that there is a ability to view by sort of a grid view, or you can do a list view, whatever's more appropriate. Now, there's also a powerful filter and search. So you have the ability to sort by alphabetical, newest added. You can also filter based on type. So it's possible to create a vehicle, and it's also possible to log an automotive item like a part, or again, something like a piece of memorabilia. And there's some other filters here to drill down on extra data, whether you want to see the things that are in the, you currently have listed as a classified or an auction in the marketplace, or based on certain attributes that you've added, certain tags that you've created. So there's some custom ways to filter data and find the right item at the right time. So let's take a look at what's involved in creating an item. So the blue button at the very top right, Add New. Here you have the ability to create a vehicle, or you can create an automotive item. And again, the distinction is a vehicle, as the name implies, is going to have a manufacturer, make, model, and then there's a whole set of other information that you can log and manage. Whereas an automotive item has less requirements. You can just enter in a name and a description, and then optionally you can add a make, model, year if that's applicable. So again, you just fill out this basic information and click Continue, and then you have the ability to then leverage all the other capabilities that are available to you. So let's take a look at those capabilities. I'm going to click on one of these items. This is a 2023 Honda Jet. So let's go take a look at it now. Of course, you can title your item, you can add a description, and then you can upload all the media that you have access to, so photos and video content. So whether you have videos and photos on your local computer, on your mobile device, or you can choose to just attach from URL. So if you copy an image, or maybe you grab a YouTube video, you can place them and have that data sort of live with your item. Now, I have the capabilities once I've uploaded all my media as I go down, attributes. Now, attributes are basically, sort of data that you want to collect or manage. So there's a lot of system attributes you can choose. So I can say original dealer, for example. I click Save, and now I can configure the value for the original dealer. So this is your way to really collect and manage all the different data, detail points of your item. You can even create custom attributes. So if you don't find something in the system list, let's say, for example, because this is a jet, maybe there's some unique attributes you want to track about your jet, like passenger seat count or something like that. You can add that attribute name, give it a description, and then you're free to log that data. So attributes are just data points and meaningful, information for your item, and you can track unlimited attributes along with your item. Next, you have documents and archival records. So think about maybe the original invoice or other important information that you want to track and keep. So you can simply click the little plus icon and you can upload all those documents. And because RumbleSeat has powerful, viewers, you can view PDFs, documents, spreadsheets, that all previews within the system. So for example, I can click here. This is a big owner's manual for this particular jet. You can see I can then scroll through, I can download, annotate, I have all those tools available in the system. The next major section is maintenance tasks. So think about for the items in your collection to schedule and, manage all the maintenance involved for your item. And in doing so, not only do you get to manage and make sure that you're completing tasks on schedule, creating, recurring tasks, but more importantly, you can acknowledge and create a digital record that those tasks were complete with time, date, notes, costs. You also notice a total maintenance cost. So this is an ongoing tracker of all of the maintenance costs involved. And again, this becomes meaningful if you ever go to resell your item, if you want to use RumbleSeat marketplace to do a listing, classified or auction listing. All that information is going to be baked in, and you can transfer that data to the new owner. This is also meaningful when you go to send this information to maybe a restorer or somebody's providing service maintenance, providing them with a sort of background of all the maintenance that's been complete. Again, it's just meaningful to have data organized and portable so you can share it with whomever. And we'll talk about more of those tools in a moment's time. So from here, I can do things like edit a maintenance task. I can check and mark a maintenance task as complete. And you can see as soon as I do that, it goes from scheduled to complete. I can log final completion notes. I can change the date. I can, record odometer reading if necessary, drag and drop files. So if I want to take the invoice for this particular task, I can associate that back to that record for safekeeping. Now, the next is service and restoration, and that's a little bit different than maintenance. So think of maintenance as like the recurring sort of scheduled maintenance. Whereas service restoration, if you're completely restoring something like changing out the interior or rebuilding an engine or transmission, or maybe you're restoring a vehicle from the ground up, you can log restoration records, and that's a little bit different. You can choose a service provider. You can create and manage all your different service providers. Again, you can notate, you can track costs, date of performance, and again, track invoices, photos. So showing sort of before and after, again, can be very valuable in the future. Next, we have events. So as you're participating in different events, whether it be a tour for your vehicle, maybe you're winning awards, to track all the different events that you've participated in can again add value to and provenance to your vehicle. Ownership history, great way to track, again, to provenance sake, tracking the ownership history, the more historical data, the better. So you can have a ledger of the different ownership history. Valuations, this is a great way to track, the value of your item by recording maybe auctions or transactions that are publicly available. And that's a great way to log that just to keep sort of an understanding of market value and transactions that are happening. References, this is just a great way to keep, important links. So let's say that there's a blog post about your specific pre-war vehicle and adds a lot of historical relevance and significant facts and maybe even photos and video. You can log references and build sort of a library of related and important facts related to your item. Next is Garage Manager. This is your ability to invite securely a person, whether they be a RumbleSeat user or maybe they're not a user yet. You can invite them to manage one or more. In fact, you can invite them to manage all items within your garage. So for those that have, maybe a mechanic on staff or, maybe you have a custodian or whatever it might be, you can invite a garage manager to access one or more items securely, to log information, to record this information for you, to review your data. Maybe it's somebody that's getting your item prepared to take to a land auction and they just need extra insights or want to log extra insights with your item. The garage manager capability allows secure access. Next and final, you'll see sharing history and management. This is sort of a journal ledger of all the shares that you've constructed with your item. So from the top right, you'll notice a little stacked menu here. And again, I can invite a garage manager, but you'll notice a share option. Here, I can share. So I can do a general share. This is great if you need to share with, like, maybe it's an insurance broker. Maybe it's a fellow enthusiast that you just want to share information with your item. So it gives a cloud-based, web-based view of your item that can be accessed, and it can be accessed securely. So when you go to create a share, you can name it so you can track it. So I'll just put share example just for record keeping. So you can name that appropriately. So in the future, you can reference that. Now you can do enhanced security. So you can assign a password, meaning the recipient, once they get the link, they're going to have the password in order to access and be able to see the content. You also notice you can generate a QR code that you can use. You can copy the share link. You can invite via email. So many, many ways to get this shared to somebody, whether it be text or sending out an email. Now, the other powerful thing is you have the ability to choose what is being shared down to the individual file or asset. So you can disable entire sections. You can disable certain media assets. If something's valuable and maybe it's a historic photo that you purchased at an estate sale, whatever it might be, you can choose what is being shared on a granular level. So great way to, again, securely share the content. And you can see if I click view, this will now open up a new browser tab and give me an understanding of what the recipient will see when they go to view this particular item. So again, we're going to maintain a ledger of all the shares that you generate, and you have the ability to edit and manage those shares. You can even revoke sharing if you no longer want that to be accessible. So again, if you have an expensive item in your garage, safety, security, and control when sharing your data is afforded to you in RumbleSeat. So let's talk about a few other key functions here. The reality is once you've already constructed and managed all of your data inside of RumbleSeat, well, it's pretty darn easy to click List in Marketplace if you ever want to resell an item. So you can choose whether you want to do a classified listing for your item or an auction listing. And once you choose, you can fill out some extra information. For example, for auction, you can choose starting bid, auction duration, whether it be reserve or no reserve. You can choose whether it's going to be in the main marketplace or club marketplaces or both. So it just takes you through a workflow of quickly taking a majority of this data, leveraging it to rapidly create a listing to be able to transact that particular item. So let's move on to other sections now. So there's a dedicated workspace that lets you focus in on all the maintenance for all items that are in your garage. So you can look at maintenance at a individual level, so per item when you're at the actual item screen, or when you go to maintenance, this gives you a global view of all the maintenance tasks that are created and completed for all the items in your garage. So you can see a total maintenance cost for all items. Again, there's powerful filters and sort controls here. So you can see what's scheduled, what's completed, what's overdue. So a quick way to really get a handle on what's necessary here. Again, you can record in bulk. So I can go and select all items. I can download information in a spreadsheet. I can mark as complete. So there's bulk controls along with individual controls. And then you also have the ability, of course, to mark as complete. And when you do so, you get a final window to record other critical information about, this maintenance procedure. So you can log final notes. Maybe you want to document with photo or video, the maintenance that was performed. Again, the more quality data, the better, especially as it relates to the future of selling an item. So that is the maintenance view. Now, you can also set recurring maintenance tasks, which is also really exciting. So you have the ability to make a maintenance task repeating. You can also set reminders. So if you want to be reminded 1 week before a maintenance task is due to maybe prepare, make sure you have the right parts, the right tools. You can also schedule recurring tasks, and all those repeating tasks will display under the main maintenance task. Now we'll go to service, and just like maintenance, service is a dedicated window that lets you concentrate on all of the service and restoration tasks that either been completed or in being performed. And so when you set up a service record, again, you can title it, you can associate it to a specific item, you can log notes, you again can choose a service provider, like who's performing this maintenance. You can create custom service providers to keep track of all the professionals that are performing all the restoration. Again, that adds the provenance and value of your item. So all that can be logged here, including adding final invoices and proof of service. So we'll go down now to garage settings. This is an area for you to manage sort of globally all the main settings for your garage. So when you get to garage settings, you'll have a tab. The default tab is sharing. These are all of the shares that you'll generate for your entire collection. And this gives you one way to quickly see the shares that you've generated, whether they're password protected. Maybe you need to remember the password so you can see it. You can also copy it to your clipboard. You can see the type of share because it's possible to share, a general share, again, with an insurance broker. You can share with your public garage, which is a great way to have on your profile page. Maybe there's certain items that you want to showcase publicly, maybe certain items in your collection you want to keep private. And then you can also do a car club registry share. So you can basically grant a club your data so that data can then live in the club registry. You can see created on date. You can also copy a link if you need to resend that. And then you can revoke access or edit the criteria of that particular share. Next, we have transfers. It's possible for an item, let's say that you sell an item. So if I go back to my item, let's say I transact, I can choose to transfer this information, either all the data or select data, to a recipient. So this is a great way to sort of hand off, all the records and all the details of your item to the new owner, and that provides them a convenient way to take that data and take ownership over it. So again, under transfers, you have the ability to, you might receive a transfer from another RumbleSeat user. You can either accept, reject, or just see all the transfers that you've generated. Custom attributes, as previously mentioned, these are all the attributes you've created for your account. So you can always come back and edit. You can create new ones from this workspace. Here's a list of all your service providers. Again, you can add, you can edit, and manage those service providers from this tab. And lastly, garage managers. Remember, this is a way for you to safely and securely structure who can get access to content in your garage, either a single item, or you can even grant global access to all items in your garage. So this has been an overview of My Garage. The real value of My Garage is really to let you digitally manage your collection in a very purpose-built manner. So whether it be maintenance, whether it be service restoration, you can use as little or as much of the capabilities and function here. But you can see the real value of embracing this part of RumbleSeat, because it gives you so many capabilities to do things like take advantage of the RumbleSeat marketplace, to post a classified or auction listing, to share with club members. And as pointed out earlier, on your profile page, you can even share your public garage. So you can even showcase the items that are in your collection to other enthusiasts. And that helps to spark, obviously, conversation, engagement, and, creating friends through RumbleSeat. If you have any questions about this workspace or any of the other tools that are in RumbleSeat, of course, as always, make sure to reach out to our team, support@rumbleseat.com.